but local Chinese investors are getting hit. So nevertheless, Greece deal is still not completed, and that's causing European markets and US market as well to tip off. And you can see yesterday we thought we were going to get a deal, and obviously it just never materialised, and we are still drifting a little bit lower. So 17,747 is the next potential support. We're trading below both moving averages, and the technical indicators are relatively neutral. MACD is giving a sell signal. Not a huge amount of economic data due out today either, and I can imagine that the next meeting for between Greece and ECB and IMF is on Saturday. I guess if you're trading euro dollar or you're trading the Germany 30 or a lot of European indices, you'll want to think about which direction you think the market's going to go heading into next week. Could be a lot of volatility, so just one thing to bear in mind, because obviously you've got the weekend. If something happens or doesn't happen on Sunday night, you could be looking at some decent moves, depending obviously what comes out. Looking at the UK 100, it's reversed course quite staunchly, coming up to 67.71, which is potential short-term support. Other technical indicators are neutral. The tips of these candles here coincide with the tips of the candle from the 10th of June. Could be a kind of a very short double top formation, and we're selling off quite aggressively. That would be a tweezer top right there, with the two tips of the candles quite so long. Push right back down, both negative closing candles, but long-legged upwards action there, which is indicative of the fact that tried to break. It was a lot higher and got pushed all the way back down. So from a technical perspective, that's usually quite negative. We're trading below both technical indicators, but 67.71 is the support level. We break below that, that's 66.86. Looking at Japan 225, dollar yen back down to 123. It's been way higher. It's doing okay. Some decent figures out of Japan. Consumer spending has actually increased a lot higher than expected, so that's giving a little bit of extra push there. Could still be a little bit of stimulus due in Japan. People are still talking about that incidentally, but 20,868 is potential resistance. Out of many of the indices, Japan's probably outperforming most other major markets out there. So moving on to dollar yen, because of the uncertainty over US interest rates as ever, because attention has completely shifted to Greece, even though we had a decent GDP figure come out of, well, decent-ish, it wasn't fantastic, out of a contraction instantly, but came in as expected. People were not really paying that much attention to the US dollar at the moment, and you can see we're trading just below that 21 period SMA and 124.42 with the next potential support 121 spot 90. Moving on to West Texas crude, I'm guessing it's not done a huge amount. Consolidating around 59.50 again. We're just slightly on the wrong side of that just now. This is turning into a little bit like what dollar yen was a couple of months back. It's just completely flattening out, consolidating around, oscillating around a specific level, and looks to be 59.50. So not really that exciting to trade, to be completely honest, at this stage. Looking at gold, it's getting pushed down each session. That would be 5-6 sessions in a row in the red. We're still looking at potentially 1163 as the next short-term support, then followed by 1137. And this is obviously all interest rate and US dollar dominated. In terms of like safe havens, gold's not as popular as it used to be. People would much rather buy the Japanese yen if things get really dicey and there's a big sell-off in the markets. So moving on to euro dollar. Again, jumping around with this 21 period SMA. 1 spot 11 is a level that many technical FX traders will be looking at. That's the last bastion of support for euro dollar. If there is no deal, the euro is probably going to get a little bit shaken, but even though the discussions have been all over the place, the euro reacted badly on this day right here, on Tuesday, but that was a technical break of a trend line compounded with the lack of a deal in Greece. But then the last couple of days it's not really done a huge amount, so maybe there are obviously a certain element of that uncertainty is priced in. Traders are willing to take a position. Looking at bond yields as well, traders are betting that there will be a deal reached, and you can see that in euro dollar as well. Looking at GBP USD, 1 spot 57.43 seems to be the next level. Last 3 days candles have been kind of oscillating around there again, with 1 spot 59 being the potential next resistance. Any further downward pressure, 1 spot 56. We've got a negative crossover in the MACD just developing, with the histogram going just to zero. And obviously we had a sell signal on the RSI a number of sessions ago, and we're just about to get a sell signal on the slow stochastic. It's not come yet, so should we get any further downwards momentum to look at 1 spot 56, you'll probably get these crossovers here on the MACD and the slow stochastic. And from a purely technical perspective, that puts a bit of added pressure on GBP USD, but really depends how the UK macro data continues to roll out. So as I said, not much due today. It's all about Greece. Next meeting is tomorrow on Saturday, so there could be some sort of deal reached at the weekend when the markets are shut. So as I said, just be wary of any of your exposure over the weekend, and be quite clear about the direction that you're trying to go in. And on Monday you've got German retail sales, and you've got German CPI, followed by US housing index. And as ever, keep your eye on the chart form. I can see that Jasper's already been posting some analysis there. This actually just yesterday, but he's got the DAX, Germany 30, UK 100, and Nasdaq. And keep your eye on insights for kind of updates from our global analyst team about what's moving the markets today. And join us again on Monday to find